Hello there, it's Friday afternoon. This is NTV at 1. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. The ODM leadership and the party officials are currently meeting in Machakos County to discuss a variety of issues, including the reopening of the economy, the BBI, and also party elections as well. Let's listen in as Raila Odinga, the party leader, is speaking.
Our people want to be fishermen and fisherwomen. So, in the months ahead, we are going into a confrontation with the beneficiaries of proceeds of corruption who are arraigned against our agenda for a radical socio-economic transformation, job creation, and equitable distribution of prosperity. We must win that war, and I'm confident that with your known commitment and support, we shall win the war. ODM, 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 ODM Tibim, ODM Tibim, ODM Ria, ODM Ria, ODM Tialala, ODM Tialala.
All right, more on that story in our subsequent bulletins. Elsewhere, in the Nairobi National Park ecosystem is now 78,000 acres bigger. This comes after landowners around the park declared 49,000 more acres of their land for wildlife conservation. Tourism Cabinet Secretary Najib Balala said in a statement that the International Livestock Research Institute, that's ILRI, and the Swara Plains Conservancy gave their land for the noble cause of wildlife conservation. ILRI gave 32,000 acres of land as Swara offered 15,000 acres. The government allocated 2,000 more acres from the Sheep and Goat Ranch, which will act as a corridor to connect the Nairobi National Park and the Swara and ILRI conservancies. Balala also inaugurated a task force chaired by Dr. Helen Gishohi to steer the Wildlife Corridor Connectivity Plan for the National Park, which he said is not big enough to meet the ecological requirements of its wildlife populations throughout the year. Now, the World Health Organization has cited social and environmental factors as some of the reasons behind the low COVID-19 infections witnessed within the African region. The WHO Regional Director for Africa also says that early and strong public health measures taken by governments across the region have also helped to curb the spread of the virus. Unlike the earlier projections of the virus affecting older people, about 91% of COVID-19 infections in sub-Saharan Africa are among people below 60 years, and over 80% of cases are asymptomatic.
After starting to ease restrictions in May and June, in an effort, clearly an imperative really, to protect livelihoods and economies, countries have started to reopen, and some countries like South Africa, Algeria, Mauritania, Ghana experienced an increase in COVID-19 cases, and now we are seeing in most countries in the region a decrease in cases. So some studies are underway to test if communities have antibodies, really to answer the question, are we missing very many people who are infected and not detected? And some early results suggest a higher number of infections than those that are reported in countries like Kenya, Malawi, and Zambia. But to extrapolate these findings to the national level, we think that further research is needed, going beyond urban areas, including in rural areas where transmission seems to be lower.
Elsewhere, shareholders of the national flag carrier Kenya Airways will be unable to trade in the company's shares for another 6 months following the extension of the suspension from trading by the Capital Markets Authority. In a statement, the Nairobi Securities Exchange says the extension is effective 4th October 2020 and has been necessitated by the fact that KQ is yet to finalize on its operational and corporate restructure for the eventual government buyout. A fortnight ago, plans to nationalize KQ were derailed after the National Assembly Speaker called for the extension of the period of public participation by a week. KQ shares were suspended from trading on the 3rd of July. The Kenya Forest Service has suffered a setback caused by illegal logging that has been on the rise since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at Londiani Forestry College in Kericho, the KFS commandant there, Alex Lemakoko, said that illegal loggers have taken advantage of the loophole that's been caused by the shortage of rangers guarding the forest. The number of available officers is below half of 5,000 required in a given area, which has made it difficult to guarantee the security of forest resources nationally. The unit has, however, been able to recover 62,700 hectares in most water towers across the country.
Available for law enforcement and even supporting utilization activities in form of access control into and outside our forest estates. During this corona period, the culprits that have been arrested always find their way out because of the various guidelines provided by the Ministry of Health concerning handling of suspects.
Trees are a source of life and a lifeline of many communities across the globe and are sometimes considered sacred places for prayer and reflection. Here in Kenya, the tree, known scientifically as Ficus natanaeus, if I pronounced that right, or let's make it easier, locally it is called mugumo, is a fig tree that is revered among many communities that live within the Mount Kenya region. Leila Mohammed tells us more.
Underneath the canopy of trees lies a special spring, below the roots of a great fig tree, locally known as mugumo by the residents of the surrounding villages in this part of Embu County. Each morning, men and women trek up to the hilly area seeking to quench their physical and spiritual thirst with the sweet waters from the special stream that flows all year round.
Tunakunywa, tunapatia ng'ombe, tunapika.
Hii maji ama hii munyu huwa ni dawa. Kama vile typhoid, kama mtu akiwa na typhoid akikunywa hii munyu huwa anapona. Kwa hivyo wakati mwingine kama unjaenda hospitali ukinywa hii munyu inakupea the first aid kabla unjaenda hospitali.
Other than seeking medical care from nature's clinic, residents here consider the area within the trees sacred, and just like the proverbial times of Moses, anyone who approaches this sacred area needs to adhere to strict protocols.
Hawezi ukakonjoa kwa hii area, hawezi ukaongea sana, kikuja tu kama unanyemelea, unakuja pole pole. Unakuja unakunywa maji yako ama hiyo munyu, alafu unaenda. Hapa hakuna kukonjoa wakati huo wa zamani. Na kama ungekonjoa hapa inakuanga mambo ingine. Sasa mpaka wale wasee wa zamani wakunja watoe mbuzi ama kafara ndio usipatwa na mambo mabaya. Hata kama ukipigwa na njiwe utokwe na damu, hiyo kindonda iwezi pona mpaka hao wasee wakuje watoe kafara ndio upone.
Juliana Mutitu, believed to be about 100 years old, says the tree could be that dare hold an axe to it. Residents say the government tried to modernize the well for hygiene purposes by building a concrete slab and taps, but the water lost the sweet taste. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
What a great story. Now, elsewhere, the Law Society of Kenya's call to have Parliament dissolved by October 12th, in line with Chief Justice David Maraga's advisory to the President, has been criticised by members of Parliament who feel the lawyers were out of line. Mavoko MP Patrick Makau, in his argument, notes that there was no need to dissolve Parliament at the moment, as the country is currently facing both economic and social challenges.
Ukiangalia kipengele cha 4 chapter 4 inapatia kila mtu nguvu na uwazi wa kuongea. LSK wanaweza ongea vile wanataka. Hayo ni maoni yao. Na kuna watu wengi ama vikundi fulani ambao wataendelea na kutoa maoni yao. Maoni yao haisemi ati kwa sababu wameandika barua hiyo ni kusema kwamba bunge itavunjwa. Hayo ni maoni yao, na pia unajua watu wanaendelea na kufanya consultation, na mimi najua suluhu itapatikana.
Kilifi Beach Management Unit is protesting the alleged grabbing of Red House Public Beach. The fishermen claim that there are individuals who have shown up with title deeds and claimed ownership of the land. They want investigative agencies to probe the matter, as Kevin Mutai now reports from Mombasa.
Fishermen in Kilifi are raising alarm over rampant grabbing of public land in the area. The latest to cause an uproar is the alleged grabbing of Red House Beach in Mnarani. Fishermen say that there are 3 developers who claim to have a title deed to the property and want to evict them from the site. Kilifi has 17 beach management units serving thousands of fishermen.
Kuna mzungu ambaye alinunua hii sehemu, alikuja hapa na akasema hii sehemu alinunua na mpaka deke amefanya beacon mpaka ndani ya maji. Hatutakubali hii sehemu kuchukuliwa. Hii sehemu ni ya wavuvi, ni ya public.
Still in Kilifi, residents from the Gudegu village in Ganze constituency have embarked on drip irrigation farming with the aim of boosting food security. Over 30 villages have come together to lease an 8-acre piece of land where they are growing crops such as tomatoes, capsicum and watermelon, among others.
Hatupati vizuri wale wataalamu wenye wanaweza kuambia kwamba ukipanda mmea huu season inayokuja toa upeleke mahali fulani, uchukue ule uregeshe huko. Hapo tunakosa kupata ule wa kuongoza.
In Lamu County, residents are accusing the county government of failing to equip King Fahad Hospital, which is the only referral public facility in the area. They claim that the hospital lacks critical services such as ICU. This comes amidst claims that the county assembly had set aside a budget of 157 million shillings to help in the fight against COVID-19.
Maswala ya COVID-19, Lamu County preparedness is 0. 1. Pesa zilipotoka, we expected to see ICU zikitengenezwa. Tulitarajia tuone mambo muhimu sana ambayo yanafanyika in other counties, such that COVID ikiisha, Lamu County itaweza kubaki na infrastructure. As we speak now, health is infrastructure in Lamu is 0.
Ni mara moja mna vitanda ukiweke pale, lakini kama huna huyo mhudumu na hajatrainiwa, wale ambao wako hawatoshi, so it's a process. Tuta recruit ama tutapeleka wetu for training, wawe tayari kupokea hizo vitanda.
Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
A 45-year-old man from Webuye is receiving treatment along with his 6-year-old son after attempting suicide and attempting to kill his son by setting their home on fire. The man is said to have had a disagreement with his wife, who was forced to walk out of the marriage. Seeking revenge, the man forced his son to consume petrol, which he also did, and then lit the house. Neighbors were able to save them before they died of suffocation and burnt to death. The man is receiving treatment at the Webuye County Hospital, while the son, who is said to have severe burns, has been transferred to the Eldoret Referral Hospital. The doctors, however, have established that the man could be suffering from a mental condition.
Tumemrefer referral Moli Teaching and Referral Hospital kwa Burns Unit. Shida za kiakili, mental illness ziko kwa wingi. Nataka kuambia community, tafadhali kujeni kwa hospitali. Tunao madaktari, psychologists.
The National Environment Management Authority, that's NEMA, is inspecting Edible Oil Products Limited over toxic emissions in Nairobi's South B area. The move by the Environment Agency comes after months of complaints by residents who say they're suffering from pollution emitted from a nearby cooking oil factory. The residents say they reached out to NEMA on several occasions over the re-emergence of a pungent smell for months now. The company has been ordered to put in place air pollution control measures at the oil refinery plant and associated facilities, as well as undertake ambient air quality measurements and dispersion modelling within 60 days. Edible Oils was among 3 companies, Powerex and USA Fitplus, located along Mombasa Road, that were indefinitely closed last year in April by Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko to give room for investigations over similar toxic emissions in the area.
Ina gani inawatatiza kwa sababu watu wa NEMA walikuja wakapima vipimo vyote vya harufu, wakapima hapa kwenye factory na wakapima pia kule kwa residents ambao wanalalamika kwamba kuna harufu inawatatiza. Na vipimo vyote watu wa NEMA wako navyo, haviko nje ya vile vipimo ambavyo hiyo harufu inaweza toa madhara kwa binadamu.
Usafi Plus, I should say. Now, stakeholders in the manufacturing sector have been urged to adopt environmental friendly solutions with a view to support sustainable industrialization in Kenya. The Ministry of Industrialization now says that the government is working towards creating incentives for manufacturers who adopt green solutions in their day-to-day processes. This comes as Kenya's generation is expected to continue rising due to population growth and rising urbanization. Manufacturers have put the government to task over the reduction of capital allowances through the Finance Act of 2020.
Kenya's greenhouse gases emissions are expected to rise consistently with a growing population and expanding economy, with emissions increasing from 59 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent in 2010 to 102 in 2030.
If you don't have sustainability within your strategy, within your plans, you will have a limited lifespan. I think we've been told about what society is demanding from us now.
All right, we take a break now on NTV at 1. Stay with us, more when we return.
Mbolea za Mavuno Fertilizers zimetengenezwa mahususi kusaidia udongo na mimea. Zimetengenezwa kwa taaluma ya hali ya juu ya kisayansi. Zaidi ya wakulima 500,000 nchini wanaweza kupata mbolea hizi kwa bei nafuu. Zinapatikana katika maduka ya kuuza pembejeo kwa viwango vya kilo 1 hadi kilo 50. Wakulima ambao wametumia mbolea za Mavuno Fertilizers wamepata ongezeko la mazao yao kwa 30%. Wasiliana nasi leo kwa simu ili kujua mengi kuhusu namna mbolea za mavuno zinavyosaidia kuongeza uzalishaji chakula nchini.
Sona moja imetengenezwa kwa njia spesheli ili kupambana na maumivu kwa haraka. Sona moja ina aspirin kama kiungo. Sona moja, kitulizo kamili. Maumivu yakizidi, pata ushauri wa daktari.
Breaking news from Molfix. Let's see what they're developing right now.
Pants is just for me. It really feels very comfy.
Molfix pants with anatomic fit technology. New Molfix pants, an invention from babies for babies.
You should also try Molfix.
Devki Steel Mills have provided quality building material with the widest range of associated steel products over the last 3 decades. Look for the Devki mark on a widest selling reinforcement, twisted and TMT rebars, which are KBS certified and have the diamond mark of quality. Devki Steel, Kenya's most trusted steel company.
When you buy a bar of Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate, you can help change the story. That's because we will use part of the proceeds to donate milk to less fortunate children across our beautiful country. Let us come together and show the generous spirit that is inside of all of us. Cadbury Dairy Milk. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Are you worried about the weather ruining your new roof? Are you running out of budget to build your roof? Don't worry, Royal Mabati Factory has you covered. Delivered free of charge as fast as possible. You can also use our Lipa Pole Pole offer to buy your Mabati and pay in easy monthly installment. Royal Mabati Factory. We are the best.
Welcome back to the broadcast. The president of Zimbabwe called out the blind pursuit of narrow interests while addressing the United Nations General Assembly in a pre-recorded message. He voiced concerns over fair distribution of a COVID-19 vaccine and decried a lack of reform of the Security Council that could lead to greater representation at the UN for African nations.
Zimbabwe welcomes calls by the United Secretary General and the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, for the COVID-19 vaccine to be treated as a global public good with guaranteed fair distribution and mechanisms to ensure equal access. It is deeply regrettable that reform of the Security Council and implementation of Africa's position has not been achieved. We cannot continue with a situation where over 16% of the world's population does not have a voice.
Around 2,000 people are facing charges over violence that erupted in Ethiopia after the June killing of a pop star from the Oromo ethnic group, the Attorney General said on Thursday, while denying that investigations were politically motivated. The June 29th shooting of Hachalu Hundessa, whose songs channeled Oromo feelings of marginalization, sparked days of inter-ethnic attacks and violence by police and soldiers that underscored persistent security woes under Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. More than 9,000 people, including journalists and prominent opposition politicians, were caught up in subsequent mass arrests that stoked criticism that Abiy, winner of last year's Nobel Peace Prize, has seized on the unrest to silence critics. Among the most high-profile opposition politicians set to stand trial is Jawar Mohammed, a former media mogul who was once considered an Abiy ally. Now this next story is motivating. Chen Jifang hits the gym for at least 2 hours every day and has the physique to prove it. Sounds pretty ordinary, right? Well, you're wrong, because Jifang is nearly 70 years old. She's being held up as a shining example as China orders its vast population to get fit and lose the bulge. The grandmother from Shanghai has become a minor celebrity in recent months as her newfound and unlikely love for working out made national headlines. After becoming a gym bunny in December 2018, Chen lost 14 kilos in 3 months and now sports the kind of flat stomach and toned muscles that people decades younger aspire to have. Well, if she can get it, you can get it. And of course, I'm talking about that six-pack and those muscles. So there you go, a challenge to all of us out there. She is 70, remember that. All right, elsewhere now, South Africans took on the hashtag Jerusalem Dance Challenge, answering a call by President Cyril Ramaphosa for Heritage Day, a public holiday aimed at celebrating diversity and culture. Many posted videos showing a choreography, the global hit Jerusalem, by local producer Master, that went viral this year. Here's a collection from a car repair shop crew, the South African Rugby Sevens team, and students from the University of Cape Town. Enjoy. Who did it best? Now, here's one for the not-so-old generation. You could, for $30 or about 3,000 shillings, become the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for a night. The 90s sitcom, which launched Will Smith's career on television, is celebrating its 30th anniversary. Now, the house where the Banks family lived on the show is available for rent for $30 a night for 30 days. The house, which is 6,400 square feet and worth more than $6 million, was used for exterior establishing shots in the series, but interior live action was actually shot in a Los Angeles studio. A Javi Martinez header in extra time handed Champions League winners Bayern Munich a 2-1 victory over Sevilla in the UEFA Super Cup in Budapest on Thursday, after Lucas Ocampos converted an early penalty for Sevilla. Leon Points as the top-seeded LA Lakers seized control of their Western Conference Final Series with a 114-108 victory over the Denver Nuggets. James finished with 26 points, 9 rebounds and 8 assists, and Davis had 30.